test 1, 2, 3. Signing into other accounts. Here we go. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Let's see here. Going back over new channel. There we go. All right. Two other accounts. All right. Hello, everybody. So today is August 12th, 2026, and just wanted to make sure that everything is working correctly. I need to grab the chat from YouTube. Let's go ahead and do that here. So today is August 12th, 2026, and the purpose of this stream, as the title card says, we are going through more arithmetic review. But as we discussed yesterday, the first part of the stream, about 10%, or sorry, about 9% of the practice time, or of the study time, is to be spent on tool development. So because of this, I have a timer up here running at the top. As you see, it's set to 20. It started at 25 minutes, and what this is currently we are going through the Gregg shorthand portion, or we're developing the shorthand portion of our work. So let me just go over here to OBS. Still getting stuff all squared away. So we go in here and I throw this. There we go. Hit OK. So we should have the chat come through here in just a little bit. There we go. Good, good. All right. So there's our chat, ready to go in case anyone sends in any information. So we're set, and let me go ahead and make sure I have the correct website pulled up here. So if I go over to, I need to make sure I have chat pulled up over here. I'm going to go over to academic tooling and going to add the chat to this element as well. Let's go ahead and add one existing. There we go. We can just move this here. We only need about this much. We don't need to sign into chat because we're just showing the chat right here. All right, so the purpose of this first, portion of the stream is to simply go through material and to develop the tools. So I already spent 25 minutes just getting OBS up and running, and so that for me counts as my tooling. I'd noticed it seems, is the voice, am I synced up properly? Let me just check this out here quickly. And to develop the tool. There does seem to be a little bit of latency. There does seem to be a little bit of latency between the two, between the sound and the camera, but that's fine. I mean, I could easily go into, if I go ahead and minimize and I go back to video capture and I set this to defaults and then go over to HD BGR emulated, maybe let's try the integrated C, and then set it there and then set the levels here. So I'm just currently resetting my camera levels because I think that's what causes the trouble, is the camera just suddenly decides that it doesn't want to play nice, and so it will do all sorts of strange things. So I have to reset it on a regular basis. There we go. Set the exposure to that level, bump up gain to this level here, about there, brightness up about there, maybe exposure up 1 count, gain down 1 count. There we go, and brightness. So obviously I'm just talking right now, you can't see me, but it seems like we're synced up now, which is good. Let's go ahead and hit OK, and then I'm going to show the camera. So now we should be good, ready to go. All right, so that appears to be good. So The purpose right now is to simply do work that is going to help me in the process of making strokes, making Gregg shorthand strokes. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to go over to this particular page, and I need to go ahead and pull up. Let's go ahead and minimize this page here, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up the correct page over on GIMP, and let me go ahead and go into where's words, pictures, let's see, recent, looking for words, scrolling through, title cards, manual, oh bother. See, this is the problem, is these sort of things should be pulled up already, all ready to go, correct? So I'm just searching through, go over to documents, going over to stenography. Did I store it in dictionary words? Individual words? No, I didn't. Where did I put that? Additional phrases? Nope, not there. Mirrored phrases is SVG. Stenography. Words, where are you? Words, assets. What about based on? Modified, nope, not there. Modified. That's the website, that's the version, we don't need that, we don't need the slides. I'm looking for my Words backup sheet. Where is it? Where are you, my friend? Da-da-da-dun, da-da-dun-dun, da-dun-dum, bum-ba-bum. This is all part of the process. That's why it's better to go ahead and start these streams now, earlier rather than later, so that I can get all these little bugs ironed out in these early phases where no one else would need to see this process. Only I need to see this process and figure out how to get this blasted thing to work. Come on, where are you? Where are you? Reference shorthand assets? Is it here? Nope, that's not it. Where did I put that? Where would I have put the... Huh. Come on, where would you be? Where would you be? Where would it be? It would be in... I thought it would be in pictures. Let's see. So we're looking for words.xcf. Let me see. Open recent. There it is. There it is. Okay. So I've got words xcf. Discard. Let's see. Cancel. Save this, and then close the title card. Okay. So I've got GIMP ready to go, and then I need to go ahead and have a Inkscape ready to go as well. And then I'm going to add those elements to the screen now. That took long enough, didn't it? And come on, go back over here, and so now I can show GIMP. All right, and then same thing, go back over to OBS. Okay, so there is GIMP. Now, it shouldn't be that full size, but we'll just minimize it here, put this here, so we can see the screen working at the same time. Okay, so there's GIMP pulled up, ready to go, and then I need Inkscape pulled up as well. Open the selector, application window, new document, Inkscape, share. Okay, okay, and it is ready to go. We also need the website pulled up, so let me go ahead and do that over here. So we have GIMP, Inkscape, and then the Gregg website pulled up, so that we can confirm that everything is being sent as it should be. So we go ahead and go words lookup. We have that ready to go. Let's go ahead and close down our Finder here. We don't need this. And now everything should be ready to go. So hopefully it's not lagging or anything. CPU usage is not too high, so we should be good. Let's go ahead and open the selector for Gregg. And it's Gregg shorthand lookup. Hit OK. and we should be able to see that as well. So now we're good, right? I think we are. Good, good, good. Let's go ahead and remove the screen capture on this element here. Chat's good, the timer is good, and the timer should be over top, so that's excellent. We have 13 minutes left. So let's go ahead and get started. 13 minutes to make as many forms as possible. That's the first part of our Gregg work. So I have my words here. Haven't had to add too many words. Of course, we dropped the amount of copy work that we were doing, but we have some words here. So we have park. Park is the word that we're looking for. And so let's go ahead and do this. Remember that I draw the forms in mirrored fashion, and then once I have the mirrored version, then then you have the ability to swap back and forth between the two. So I have GIMP pulled up over here, and I'm going to go ahead and add park. Add park. Ooh, and let's go ahead and change to the originals. So park is going to be P-A-R-K. P-A-R-K, all right? Like so. This is park. So this is park. So we can go ahead and grab the image, cut. Remember that we're turning it from a rasterized image into a vector image. So we grab that value. This is park, and we then trace the pathway using Inkscape. And now I need to go ahead and get the pathway to the directory. So let me pull that up here. Grab my pathway, copy, and close. Go into Inkscape, update this, and this is park. Park.svg. Park.svg, we change it so that it is exporting the selected value only, and we want plain SVG, and we export that value. So this is park. Park has been added to the dictionary. Okay, so we can then go ahead and delete it from the file, close without saving, go back over here to GIMP, and I can cross it off my list here. And the next one is going to be the word fill. Now, fill was the word that we had to update from last stream, or from a few streams, I think it was last week, where I had it in I had it as a brief form. It's not a brief form, it is an actual phonetic form. All right, so, whoop, almost, let's go down here, the F circles down, and then curves like that. So there we go, that is fill. We cut the raster, and we paste the selection in Inkscape, we convert to a pathway, and then we export the pathway as fill. Fill.svg, and it's going to squawk at us because it exists, and yes, I do want to override it. So now we can go ahead and get rid of this, go back over to GIMP, and now that we're in GIMP, I can now add the word marathon. Marathon, okay? So we're going to add the word marathon. And marathon is going to be and then this is where it gets interesting. So we could do marathon, and this would be T-H-O-N, like this, I believe, if we do T-H-O-N. So for that, we're going to have to go over to the dictionary and see if we can find an analogous word. So we sign in here, we go T-H-O-N, and thon, tripthon, diphthon. Marathon is essentially that form, it's just it doesn't swoop down. It doesn't swoop down quite as much. We have the ability to just have the straight line. So for marathon, marathon is going to use it's going to use the backwards analogy. So for that, we might actually be able to do it underneath. So if we do here undo and undo, if we go like this, like that, marathon. right? There's our backwards R. Okay. Now the question is, which direction would the th go after an M stroke? So for that, I need to go over to the dictionary. Or I might actually even be able to search on Google and say which direction does th stroke turn when okay, which direction does the th stroke? There we go. Th joinings is written with left. That's right. So when following an R stroke, the th stroke is written using the left hand motion counterclockwise. So for us, because we do it opposite, then this would be clockwise, right? So the normal flow of Gregg or of the th stroke is to go forward, right? This is a th stroke, but if it follows an R, then we have to go. Would go in the opposite direction. It would be the opposite flow of the th stroke. So because this is marathon, we would have the backwards R, marathon, marathon, and that would be our word, okay? So that right there is the word marathon, marathon, as in to run a marathon. So let's go ahead and straighten it up here, clean it up a little bit, up, and then over. There's marathon. Grab the value, we cut, and we paste over in Inkscape. We go ahead and apply the change to turn it into a vector, and then we give it the name of marathon.svg. Marathon.svg, and let's see, I have 6 minutes remaining on the clock, 6 minutes 49 seconds. Good, good. So we close without saving, because we have marathon. And now, what do we do here? Our next word is going to be darlings. Darlings, okay? So, same thing. We go ahead and grab the D. We go D, darling. Dar. Ing. Dotting. Now this one, because it's going to be a backwards, we might be able to just go dying. Let's see, dying. No, we do need to have the R. So if we go something like, let's see, what would be, we don't have darling in the dictionary, but we might have, if we look at the analogy of dark, okay, dark, darken, and how about just dar by itself? So these are all the different variations of dar. So we have dare, dared, dares, Darius, standardize, so on and so forth. We are going to need the R for darling, so we'll have that in there. And what we'll do is daring, daring, like kings. So king is like this, right? So darling would be dying, dar. Ing, dotting. Okay, we don't have to have the L. The L can be implied, okay? Dotting. Because we already have dare. Dare is just the stroke by itself, right? That's dare. So if we have this form right here, then this could be dotting, which is darling. We don't have to have the L. The L can be implied, okay? Dotting, dotting. So we grab the value. We cut the value, and then we paste it over here in Inkscape. Convert the raster image into a vector pathway, and then we have darling, darling.svg. We close this value down, close without saving, go back over to Inkscape, and let's see how much time we have left. 4 minutes, very good. Go ahead and grab our next value, which is going to be prediction. prediction. So we're going to have predict, which is, I believe it's this one right here. We go, is that predict? Let me check prediction. Predict. And I already have prediction, so... Oh, predictor. A predictor, that's what it was. It's not prediction, it's predictor. So for predictor, we take predict, and then we add the R underneath for predictor. All right? We go ahead and grab the value, and this is how we create the predictor form. Go ahead and convert the raster image into an SVG right over here. Predictor.svg. Go ahead and close down the form. Go back over to GIMP. Okay. Next word is measurable. Measurable. Okay. Measurable. For that, we need to go ahead and look up measure. I believe it's just measure, but let me go ahead and confirm. So we have measure. Yes. So we take our form for measure, and then we simply add the B to that form. All right? Measure, measure, B. And then that would be measurable. So over here in GIMP, we start up here at the top of the line, and we go measure, B, like that. And that would be measurable. Let me go ahead and check. Yep, so that one, that's our form. That's measurable. Let's make the B just a little bit smaller. It doesn't have to be quite as extreme. So we come up over the top. We go measurable. Measurable, okay? And we grab that, cut the value as a raster, paste it as the raster, and then we use our pathway finding in Inkscape to then convert it into an SVG, or a vector first, and then we export it as an SVG, which is a vector style. So, sorry, just bumped into the microphone. I apologize for that. So we have measurable .svg, and how much time do we have? We have 1 minute and 45 seconds. Good. So behavioral is my next word. Let's go ahead and go over here to Inkscape, close down measurable, and we go back over to GIMP, and now we do behavioral. So we've done measurable, and now we need to do behavioral. Behavioral. So for that, we have to go with behave, which is B. Oh, come on. There we go. We go B, A. So this is behave, like that. And let's go ahead and see the actual form laid out. Looks like, am I running out of time? 1 minute left. Running down to the clock. So this will be the last one. Behavior. So there's behavior. And so behavioral would simply add an L to this, okay? It would simply add an L to the form that's listed in the dictionary. So we're going to do that. We have B, A, let's do it again. So we're going to have B, A, V, R, L, and then the H, okay? So let's go ahead and go B, A, V, R, L. And this is going to be behavioral. So we'll grab the form, cut, and paste over in Inkscape, and this will be the last one. So we convert from a raster into a vector. From a vector, we then export as the name behavioral. Behavioral. Let's make sure I spelled that correctly. behavioral.svg. And now we can go ahead and close this down. Close without saving, because we don't need to save anything on Inkscape. And we can go ahead and close down GIMP, because that is done as well. Now we go over to, yep, and we ran out of time. So now let's go ahead and go back into the timer. Let's interact. And it's very dark. I might have to I might have to turn a filter off so I can reset it. So I have filters set in OBS in order to see it, or in order to access it, and I think I might need to turn off, yeah, we'll turn off color key. All right, and then once we're in color key, I can then go in and I can interact, and we're going to reset it. We're going to set it to 25 again. Done. reset, start. There we go. So now I have 25 more minutes, and the 25 minutes being spent here is now going to be on recall or mnemonics, okay? So like I said at the beginning of the stream, I already spent the first 25 minutes just getting the screen all set up, so yay for me, but as I said before, that means that that's one less thing that I have to do later. So we can go ahead and change our view over into academic tooling. And now that we're here in academic tooling, I can go ahead and open up OurNote. And I already have OurNote up and running. Go to the application window, and there we have academic tooling. Okay, so let's go ahead and, this is academic tooling, so this should be, let's go ahead and reset. Let's reset the transform. And this should be full screen here. That's probably why it's not showing. And then I go back here into Inkscape or into OBS, and there we go. So now we have OurNote ready to go. So what is the way that we can? So remember that for the 25 minutes now, we're going to be talking about the recall methods, okay? So these are methods of recall, all right? So this is academic tooling. Here we go, academic. Let's go ahead and move it to the medium size, undo, and we're going to go academic tooling. All right, so in academic tooling, as we said before, everything pertains to knowledge work. So knowledge work is our aim, and everything that we do is simply furthering our ability to work in the domain of knowledge work. So we spoke of to acquire the knowledge, that's where our shorthand comes into play. To categorize the knowledge, that's where our note card system or our slip box comes into play. And then in the course of the next 25 minutes, we're going to talk about recall. We're going to talk about recall and really build up our tooling and show how this works. So remember, you acquire to categorize, you categorize to recall, you recall so that you may acquire more knowledge. Okay? And now we're going to talk about the recall part of the equation, okay? And as I said earlier, the purpose of these 25 minutes are to build your tools. You are here to build the tools that help you then with the process. So what we're going to do first is actually something that is foundational, and that is we're going to understand our basic sets of images. So if you remember, we said that recall, at least right now, I am basing all of my recall work on visual cues, okay? So our focus is on visual cues. Our focus is on visual cues. And if you remember, we said that the things that we need to focus on are highly contrasted, high contrast, okay? So we need images that are high contrast. We need images that are, what was the other one? It was distinct, right? It was high contrast. It was, oh, I'm trying to remember. I know it was dynamic, right? We need dynamic. That's one of the points. There were 3 of them, and I'm trying to remember what the last one was. High contrast, dynamic, and what was it? What was it? High contrast, dynamic. I mean, that's enough to work with right now. If I remember the next one, I'll go back and work on it. But so the focus cues, or the focus cues, I should say image cues, not focus, image cues. All right, so the image cues, they have to be high contrast and they have to be dynamic. Now, over the course of the next few minutes, what I need to do is I need to start building out, actually, the images. Surprising enough, one of the first groups of images that you want to have really strongly fixed in your mind is your own alphabet, is the English alphabet. I mean, whatever alphabet you're going to work with, is fine. But what we need to do is we need to make sure, first and foremost, that all of these, so I'm going to list them all, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. All right. Now it seems trivial or childish. Why would we go back to the alphabet? Don't we know the alphabet? Don't we know the alphabet? Is the challenge, right? Well, the question is, do you really know the alphabet? All right. Do you know the alphabet in that you could drop in, like for instance, in your mind, if you closed your eyes without looking at this list, and I gave you O, and I said, what is the letter that is three positions before O? What is the one that precedes it? What is its value in the listing? Would you be able to do that? That's the sort of question, that's the sort of connection that you want to have with your visual information. You want to be able to say that A is the first, B is the second, C is the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, so on. I'll list them all out here. 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. Right? So now we would say that O is the 15th. O is the 15th letter. Now, you would be right in asking the question, why is that important? Why is it important to know the index of the position? Well, the reason for that is because all of memory is, as you remember, we said that all of memory is composed, right? We said over here, in fact, we'll say memory or images used in memory. Images used to encode abstract information. Or complex ideas. Must be composed. Must be composite images. Composite would be the better way to say it. Composite images. This means that they're built up using a number of smaller images. Okay. Now, part of that idea of composition is that you need to know how to position things in space with each other, in relation to each other. Okay. So that's why having an idea of positionality, I'm going to write that word here, positionality is crucial or key. Positionality is crucial / key. If you can establish the position of something, half of your battle is already set because now you have a fixed location in mind, right? We are creatures that need to have information locked in space. It's very hard for us to think of things that are not connected to something else. And connection is essentially a geometric principle. It's bound to something, right? It's tied down. So, understanding the positionality, even of our own alphabet, is extremely crucial because it helps us with the ability to understand the information. And I just realized that as I'm looking at the screen, I see that I need to add just a little bit of background color to the timer because it's a little hard to see. It needs a little bit of an opaque cancel. It needs a little bit of an opaque background. So let's see, can we add just a little bit of it in. Add a, let's see here. Sorry, I know that I am, it seems like, well, I am I'm adding one more step, but if I can set the timer now, then that means it's one less thing that I have to worry about in the future. So I'm going to go to color correction, or color key actually, and can we leave a little bit of the background in there? Not really, it's not changing it. Oh, that's a shame. I think I can add another effect. I need to add an image mask. Okay, and let's do alpha mask. No. Let's see how to do this. Oh, the joys of OBS. The joys of trying to get the software to look just the way you want it to so that it's easy for people to read. So as I said before, I'm trying to reset the timer here to make it look a little better. One thing I could do is I could increase the contrast. If I increase the contrast and the gamma, that makes it stand out a little bit more. Okay. Oh, one thing I could do, one thing I can do is I can create a grouping. So over here in OBS, you can add, if I need to add another, I'm going to add a color, okay? And the color, I'm going to add another one existing. So now we lost it all, right? But what I'm going to do is we have this blank background, okay? And if I put this directly behind, so I'm going to move color behind timer, all right? So now you can see that the area just behind the timer is being hidden, or is being shown actually. You know what? I just realized I'm going to remove this color. I'm going to go to the timer and I'm going to turn off one of the filters. I'm going to turn off color key. And color key will allow me, if I then drop the gamma here and I drop the contrast ever so slightly, the color key is automatically going to show the background. It's automatically going to show the background, which is going to hide what comes behind it, but I can fix that. I can fix that by then dropping the opacity slightly. Okay? So if I increase the contrast, but I have the opacity drop down, and I have the brightness turned up just a little bit, and the gamma turned up just a little bit, okay? Now you see that it's slightly opaque, which means it's going to hide the background. It's going to hide the background. And, okay, so I need to increase the opacity a little bit more. Let's go to color correction. We're going to increase the opacity. Let's take a look at the screen. Yeah, that's looking okay. Increase the opacity just a little bit more. Good. Drop the contrast just a little bit. Increase the gamma. Let's see what that looks like. We hit close. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty good. Yeah. And then what I'll do is I will make sure that I have, it's called color multiply. So in OBS, you can set up your color multiply. So I'm going to go over here and grab my specific color. I work with a palette, a color palette, so that I have consistency across my videos. And so I'm going to go to the color swatch. I always carry a specific color swatch with me. That way I'm not guessing at the colors. They're all saved as hex codes. So I go into the timer, cancel. I need to open up the filters. And I'm going to go to color correction. I go down to color add. And I'm going to add the particular shade of blue, kind of the bluish background. There we go. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good, eh? All right. So now the timer stands out a little bit more starkly against the background, which is exactly what I wanted. So one thing left is I'm going to go to filters, and I'm going to go to color correction. I'm going to drop the contrast just a little bit, increase the gamma, decrease the saturation slightly. I'm going to hue shift. Do I want to hue shift this at all? Nope, that should do it. Close. Now we're set. Nice. So even though I know that it took 9 minutes to do that, I apologize. Or no, it took what, 6 minutes to set the timer. But now that's one less thing that I have to worry about in the future. So like I said, these streams, these are the streams in which I learn. This is my learning opportunities, right? As Bob Ross says, there's no such thing as a mistake, only a happy accident. And that's me. That's my middle name, is Happy Accident. So we got that squared away. Let's just keep on rolling, okay? So as I was saying, back to the recall, okay? In recall, positionality is crucial or key. So therefore, one of the most basic forms of recall that we can have is to understand our own alphabet. If you start by understanding your own alphabet, half of your battle is already done. If you understand your own alphabet and you understand your own numbers, almost all other information is easy compared to that. So it's really interesting. If we take the time to understand the alphabet, then we are on the way to having a better understanding of every other form of information. So S is the 19th, T is the 20th, U is the 21st, V is the 22nd, W is the 23rd, X is the 24th, Y is the 25th, and Z is the 26th. Okay? So this is what we're going to work with right now. We have the 26 letters of the alphabet, and there are a number of different ways that we could store the alphabet, okay? The way that we could build the images. The most basic one, of course, and one that I would recommend that you try, is to use what's called a memory palace. All right? So methods, let's say that these are methods for encoding. All right, so the first one would be to choose a dynamic image for that would help you remember the letter. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with animals, actually. People are excellent for this, so if you have like a good friend or a video game character or a movie character, an actor, so on and so forth, and you assign the letter to the first sound of their name. For instance, let's say we have H. You know, H could be Hulk, right? Hulk, the superhero. We could have Wolverine for W, right? We could have Thor for T, right? We could have Spider-Man for S. So Marvel, as you can see, I do kind of like me some superheroes. But each of these letters could be assigned a superhero if you wanted. I'm going to stick to something a little bit more generic, which would be animals. But they can be highly dynamic versions of the animals. They don't just have to be static or boring. So the methods for encoding, the first one is that the first step is to choose an image that links to the abstract information. Okay? Choose an image that links to the abstract information. And the important thing is here, you have to make it personal. So I'm going to give my recommendations, but you don't take my recommendations. You need to take whatever comes to your mind and whatever makes sense to you. That is the key, okay? So we choose an image that links to the abstract information, and the linking could be it could be based on phonetics, which would be the sound of the letter. That's a good one. Phonetics. So the sound, for instance, A, You would use like you could use like aardvark, or you would use anaconda, or you would use what are some other ones? Ant, or you could use what's another A? Albatross, or what else? What else do you have for A? What other animals? Albacore is a fish. You have, trying to think of some other ones. I mean, you're obviously screaming at the camera saying, hey, it's this, it's this, it's this. And that's what you want to do. So wherever I'm forgetting, that's probably the one you're remembering. And the one you remembered is the one that you need to use in your imaging. Okay. So you choose an image that links to the abstract information. You could use phonetics. You could use number shape. Okay. You could use geometric similarity. Now this one is an interesting one. Okay. You could use geometric similarity. Let's say that you don't really want to remember the phonetics and you want to remember the actual shape of the letter itself. Then what you would do is you would look at each of these particular letters and you would say, what animal looks like the letter? What animal looks like the letter? So for instance, I would look at the C and I would think, oh, that could be a snake. Right? That could be a snake that's curved, although S for me was really a snake, but C could be that, or it could be, you can kind of let your imagination wander, right? You could think, what is C? What could C be? Well, if we go ahead and take C over here and we're looking at it, well, to me, it kind of looks like an ear. It looks like an ear, or it could be a jellyfish. It could be a jellyfish, right? So we have, this is the body of the jellyfish, and then its legs go out. Okay? So notice I actually take the shape of the letter itself, and that would be a geometric. That would be a geometric linking, where the shape of the shape of the letter itself becomes the linker for the information. So even though C, the letter C, it's a S sound or a K sound, then if you were going by geometrics only, then it would be a jellyfish, right? Because we're looking at the shape. What about B? A B. Well, B, I can see this. This looks like a, turned on its side. Let's see. That could be two eyes, right? That could be, to me, it looks like an owl, right? Turned on its side. So you can really let your imagination run away with you. Think about, in fact, there we go. There we go. There's our eyes looking down. There we go. So you can really let your imagination run away with you as far as the geometrics. I can't help you with that. It's what it looks like to you. Okay. So we can do phonetics. We can do geometrics. We could do what else? We could do. Really, those are the only two. Oh, sometimes you can use societal. So you can use phonetics, geometrics, or you can use historical or social importance. All right? Historical or social importance or linking. So what would this look like? Importance. All right? How would we do social or historical importance? Well, these letters, they have a lot of importance in our society as well, and specific letters will have more importance to you. So, for instance, let's say that like X-Men, right? That one's fairly easy, or X marks the spot. So you could use a pirate there, right? We say that X marks the spot, and so an X could be a pirate, right? That would be social. That would be a social link. All right, X would be a pirate, even though obviously X is not, there's no X in the name pirate, but because it's X marks the spot, that would be a case of social or historical importance. All right. So that's that is that example. What are some other ones? We could have what's another social value? You could have like A plus, right? A plus. All right. So A plus would be like exemplary. So you imagine like getting a reward. So A plus would be the reward. Okay. And I see I just ran out of time. Probably been running out of time for a few seconds now because I was looking at the other monitor. So that's the time. That's all of the time that we're going to spend on our review, right? So like I said, I've already spent. In fact, we'll go ahead and minimize this now. Hide it. There we go. Because, as I said in the previous stream, when you are doing your tool development, you don't want to develop more than 30%. You don't want to spend. So the rule is, don't spend more than 30% of total time on tool development. All right? Don't spend more than 30% of total time on tool development, okay? So that's the takeaway. That's why we set a time and we stick to the time when it comes to working with all of our different tools. So remember, we did recall. This was 25 minutes on recall. We already did 25 minutes on shorthand, and the first 25 minutes that should have been spent on the note card system was spent setting OBS up. So because of that, we have to sacrifice every once in a while, but remember, the benefits are made in short bursts over a long run. Okay, short bursts over a long run. They're not done all at once. So if you fail one day or you don't get as much done as you wanted, that's fine. You just pick it up the next day. That's life. That's life. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I need to switch on over to my mathematics. Okay, mathematics is the next one. So we're going to go over here, and I have RNote pulled up, but I need to go ahead and switch my view in RNote. I'm going to open up my mathematics portal. So I'm going to go over to personal. We go to is it in documents. I'm going to go to mathematics, De Morgan. So we'll let it load up. Let it do its thing. There we go. All right, so here we go. We were just getting to the end of De Morgan. We had spoken about the idea of balancing the equation. Okay, we had spoken about balancing the equation. Let me make sure that yes, it looks like De Morgan is set up, ready to go. So let's go ahead and put this here. Oh, let's reset transformation for. There we go. All right, so we are set, and then this would be our Gregg page, which I can go ahead and close down for right now. We do need our PDF pulled up, so let's go ahead and get our book going. Now, here's the interesting thing. Remember how I said that these streams are as much for my benefit? In fact, they are all for my benefit. I welcome anyone who is interested to peek into the workshop, so to speak. That's what you're doing as you're watching me work, is you're essentially watching someone in their workshop trying to figure stuff out. So what I have to do is I have a couple different things that I'm working on, right? The first one is that I'm attempting to learn how to present well on screen, but I also have to prepare content. So what that means is that once I've finished a particular section in the textbook, then I should create at least one video concept, whether that is like a particular exercise, right? Maybe that's the way you start, right? You start first with an exercise, so you lay out the exercise, and then you film the video, and then save it, and then do the edits off screen, because you guys don't need to see edits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of time before I go on to the next section, which is section 2. I'm going to take a little bit of time, and I'm going to create a video that is an answer to these exercises, okay? So for that, I'm going to still use Arnote. Arnote's going to be the same. And let's see, I might be able to just create a version here. So we're going to do De Morgan. I'm going to create exercises. Exercises dot Arnote. Okay, and this is De Morgan exercises. De Morgan exercises dot Arnote. Okay, and so I've just created a new page here, and I'm going to select the entirety of the page. We go to selection, select all. Can I select all? Come on. There we go. Can I select all? Nope. Oh, you're making me work. There we go. So let's go ahead and just delete all of this, because this is the exercises page. We don't need all of this information, which is on the previous streams, of course. And I have cleaned up my screen, so now I'm going to zoom into the origin. And now I have my page all pulled up, ready to go. What I'm going to do here in Arnote is I'm going to do the layout. I'm going to write down. I can go ahead and minimize my timer. Don't need to show that. And I'm going to go ahead and do the layout for. I'm going to do the layout for one of the exercises, and then I'm going to record the video. And then if it turns out all right, then I'll be able to upload that as a solution. Okay, so let's go ahead and show. I need to show the PDF. Let's go ahead and open the selector for that. Go in here to Elements of Arithmetic, and we show the page, okay? So there's our page right there. And what we're going to do is we only need to, for right now, I'm going to hand copy the page, because, you know, the look of hand copying, okay, and the process of hand copying, as I've said before, is very good for it's very good for developing understanding, not memory, and that's what Sonke Arens had said, not memory. It doesn't help you with your memory, but it does help you with your, your ability to understand the information, okay? So, with that being said, let's go ahead and, minimize Gregg. Gregg is hidden. So what we're going to do is we are going to create the template for the exercise, okay? So for that, I need to have this pulled up here. Oh, yeah, that should be up in this corner. There we go. Did that change it over here? Yes, it did. Good. So let's go ahead and go back into Arnote, and this needs to be on top. So let's see here. Got it set up there. All right, so let's go ahead and write this down. What is a plus 2x minus c, where a is 12, b is minus 18, and c is 17, okay? So this is the solution, or we're going to find the solution for this particular problem. All right, done. Make sure that we're all good over here. So we have an expression. This is called the expression, okay? So we'll go in here, grab our pen, and all I'm doing right now is just laying out my framework, okay? So we have the given expression. Let's go ahead and make this a little smaller. There we go. For the given expression, for the given expression, Whoop, let's go put this over here. SSION, and then comma, and then we write it down. So it's A plus 2B minus C. A plus 2B minus C. For the given expression, A plus 2B minus C, what is the answer if, and then here we do colon, A is equal to 12, B is equal to 18, and C is equal to 7. If A is equal to 12, B is equal to 18, and C is equal to 7. All right, so let's go ahead and see that here. 12, 18, and 7. Good. So we have A, 2x minus C. All right, so now what I need to do is I need to zoom out so that it's centered, and now I go ahead and try and record the video, okay? So notice that we have a good layout. I can go ahead and minimize the PDF because we don't need that, and now I simply work out the problem. And I record it and see if the video is good enough in order to then hold on to, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that my settings are saved for my video output. General, where's it going to be saved to? Output. There we go. I can't change recording. Okay. Yep, that is a good location. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. So I'm going to start the recording now. Hey everybody. In this particular math problem, we're looking at the expression A plus 2B minus C. So for this given expression, what is the answer if A is equal to 12, B is equal to 18, and C is equal to 7? So once again, this is our expression. That's called an expression. This is our first value, A equal to 12, B is equal to 18, and C is equal to 7. So what we do, remember that these values here, these are placeholders. They're placeholders for some unknown quantity. And once we know the quantity, in this case A would be 12, the quantity of B would be 18, and the quantity of C would be 7, we can simply do what's called substitution. So we're going to do our substitution phase right here. I'm going to label that. So this is our substitution. Substitute. All right, so let's go ahead and substitute our values. So once again, let's rewrite the expression. And I would recommend that you follow along right here, okay? So go ahead and copy as I go. So A plus 2B, and this means 2 times B. If we're dealing with a letter, name where the quantity is unknown, we don't have to show the symbol of multiplication, right? So we know that 2B is equal to 2 times B. 2 times B, okay? So therefore we don't have to show the multiplication sign. It's called implied. This would be called implied multiplication. It's implied multiplication. Okay? Implied multiplication. So we substitute. We start first with our expression A plus 2B minus C. So let's go ahead and substitute, and we'll show that by using parentheses. So we go ahead and open up a parenthesis for A, and we drop the value, the quantity for A in its place. We substitute. And we do the same thing here. We plus, now here we have 2. Now here's the interesting thing, okay? Parenthesis means the same thing as multiplication, okay? Anytime you have a value, let's say we have x, all right, x and y. Once we know the values for x and y through substitution, let's imagine we have 3 and we have 4. If two numbers are connected to each other via a parenthesis, or parentheses, right? Parentheses mean multiplication. Parentheses mean you multiply. Okay? If numbers are joined by parentheses, you will multiply. Okay? So in this instance, we do the same thing. We have a plus 2, and then we take b, would be 18, and we drop it in the parenthesis, and then we have minus, and we open parenthesis for 7 for c, which is 7. And now we go through and we call what's called simplification. So we've substituted. Now we're going to simplify. We are going to simplify. All right, so 12 is left by itself. We can't do anything there, but we can go ahead and do our multiplication. We have to do something called PEMDAS. We have to follow a rule here called PEMDAS, and PEMDAS, PEMDAS. And what is this? This means that we have to simplify our parentheses first, or is it powers? It's exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So we start first with our parentheses. Parentheses. There we go. Then we go to exponents. And these are the order in which we solve things. So that we have exponents. And then we have multiplication. Is exponent spelled? This gets me every time. Exponent. Is it spelled with an E or an A? Yeah, it's an E. It's an E. Trip me up every once in a while. All right, so then we have parentheses, exponents, then we have multiplication. Then we have division. Then we have addition. And finally, we have subtraction. This is the order that we want to perform our mathematical or arithmetic operations in. We solve our parentheses. We solve in this order. We solve in this order. Solve in this order. There we go. So we always solve our parentheses first, then we solve our exponents, and let's go ahead and lay out, this is the first step. So step number 1, we make sure that all of our parentheses are taken care of. Then we make sure that we have taken care of our exponents. Then we multiply, then we divide, then we add, and finally we subtract. That's the order in which we perform our arithmetic operations. So in this instance, notice we don't add because we have multiplication first. We have to multiply our value first before we add, right? Because multiplication comes before addition. So let's go ahead and do that here. We know that 2 times 18 is going to be 36. 2 times 18 is going to be 36. And notice we can't do any subtraction yet because we're not at that phase, right? We did our multiplication. We've cleared out all the parentheses. And so now the next step is there's no more multiplication, which means we now add. we now add. So 12 plus 36 is going to be 48. So we have 48 minus 17. Okay, and then we take this away, we find the difference, and the answer here is going to be 41. So, in answer to the question, for the given expression a plus 2b minus c, what is the answer if a is equal to 12, b is equal to 18, and c is equal to 7? First we substitute, we put the values in their place, and then we simplified. And our answer here is going to be, it's going to be 41. 41 is the answer. All right, so that would be an example. That would be an example of making, making a video. Now, of course, those are, it was almost a little bit too long-winded. In fact, it probably would be far too long-winded in order to actually work, but it at least is a start. So now I can go back and I can go through that video and hopefully tighten it up a little bit and make it easier to understand. I'm going to go ahead and have a little sip of water now, because now we're back to streaming. Okay, so that would be the first exercise. Now, I might just take the time and do all the exercises because I'll gradually get better and better with each one. So the next one would be, the next one that I would record would be, what is AA minus BB over A minus B, where A is 6 and B is 2, okay? So that would be our next one, where we lay it out for the expression. So once again, we're going to use the same language here and here. Say 4. Now, here's something that I can experiment with. What if we do cursive? Think that'd be a little too much? For the expression, kind of give me a chance to practice my cursive as well. And also practice for people to read cursive. That might be interesting. For the expression, okay. Here we go. Come on. For the expression. Yeah, that should work. That should work. I'll just see if I can make it a little bit more smooth. Go for the expression. Here, let's try this again. For the expression. There we go. For the expression, and then colon, and then we have the names. It's AA, because we haven't learned about powers yet, so we can't use those. It's AA minus BB over A minus B, AA minus BB minus BB all over A minus B. For this expression, AA minus BB all over AB, what is the solution? Here we go. What is the solution if, and then below we lay it out more. So what is the solution if A is equal to 6 and B is equal to 2? A is equal to 6 and B is equal to 2. All right, so A is equal to 6 and B is equal to 2. For the expression AA minus BB all over AB, what is the solution if A is equal to 6 and B is equal to 2? All right, so now I record this video. So we have everything laid out the way it should be. We go ahead and get started. So we go back over here to GIMP, or not to GIMP, to OBS, and I start recording. Hey everybody, in this video, in this expression, in this mathematical exercise, we have this expression for the expression AA minus BB all over A minus B. What is the solution if A is equal to 6 and B is equal to 2? Okay, so we have an expression and we're being asked to simplify the expression or to solve the expression. Okay, so first of all, before we go through the process of substitution or anything like that, we need to go ahead and remember our PEMDAS, and PEMDAS is going to tell us the order in which we perform the operations. So we have PEMDAS. PEMDAS is the acronym that I want you to remember in order to effectively solve the problem. And what is PEMDAS? PEMDAS stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. All right, so once we have this order, this is the order in which we solve or we simplify the expressions. All right, so let's go ahead and now start filling out, or we're going to copy our answer. We're going to copy the solution here, A minus B all over A minus B. Now we do substitution, okay? We're going to do substitution. So we're going to substitute. And so to show substitution, we use our parentheses. So I'm going to switch back over to this color here, and we have our parentheses. So what is our A value? So in place of just the name A, we can put the exact quantity, because now we know it's quantity. And we're going to put 6. And there are 2 of them, right? So we join them by parentheses. Anytime you see the letter name, we simply put its value. So we have 6 times 6 minus, the minus symbol stays the same, and then we go over here to B, and B is equal to 2, and then we open another parenthesis, and B, and we put the exact quantity for B as well. Now we drop a division bar across the middle, and now we add 2 more substitutions. We substitute A for 6. Now for this one, we don't have to worry about parentheses because they're not connected, right? So we can just do a direct substitution. No need for parentheses. So A minus, and then B is 2, right? So now we have this layout, right? 6, and remember, anytime you see numbers that are joined by parentheses, that automatically means multiplication. If numbers are joined, or if numbers or expressions are joined by parentheses, then we are dealing with multiplication. So we have 6 times 6 minus 2 times 2 all over 6 minus 2. Now, let's remember our PEMDAS, right? Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So we don't really need to, although we see parentheses here, remember that that actually means multiplication. That means multiplication, okay? So our first step is to make sure that all of our multiplication is taken care of. So let's go ahead and write that down below. 6 times 6 is 36, minus 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay, all over. Now here's where it gets interesting, because we can simplify, right? There's no multiplication down in the lower quadrant, or in the lower half of our division, right? Our divisor. And so we can go ahead and simplify. We can go ahead and simplify this value here. 6 minus 2 is 4. Okay, now we go down. We have cleared out all of our multiplication. We now only have our we have our difference in the numerator, and so therefore we solve that. 36 minus 4 is going to be 32, all over 4 still. Nothing changed in our divisor. And now we figure out how many times does 4 go into 32. 4 goes into 32 8 times. 4 goes into 32 8 times. Now, let's say, for instance, that well, actually, that's just one that you memorize, right? So that's one that you would just have memorized. So 4 goes into 32 8 times. And that would be our final answer. There is our answer right here, okay? So, have we answered the question where it says, for the expression AA minus BB all over A minus B, what is the solution if A is equal to 6 and B is equal to 2? So we first copy down the expression with the numbers that do not have their exact quantities yet, and then we substitute the number names for their exact quantities, or the variables as they're called. We do a substitution and we give the exact quantities where the variables were, and then we simplify, and the simplification gives us 8. All right, so that gives us our next video. That would be our next video. And we just continue through this process. So we just plug and chug and plug and chug, keep it going, keep it going. And then eventually we will all just be able to upload those recordings that I made. So let's do our next one. Our next video is going to be, what is the difference between, and then it gives us some various problems here, okay? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 problems. Let's go ahead and copy them down. Let me go ahead and show you the PDF as I'm copying it. There we go. So that's the page that I currently see, and I need to go ahead and get started on making the video for this. So here we go. What is the difference between A, B, and C, D, and A, B, C plus D for the following values of A, B, C, and D? So let's go ahead and this might, we'll do this as one total video because it will show the same process for multiple types of numbers. So we say, for the expression, here's our next exercise. For the expression, and we'll do cursive again. For the expression, sure reminds me, I need to check on our note to see if I can I make it modeled pressure curve, choose a pressure curve, textured style, path modeling, simple, curved. I think I want curved. Let's try curved for my brush configuration. Let's try this. Yeah, that feels a little better. Let's try for the expression. And are there two expressions or what? What is the difference between... Hold up, what is he trying to say? what is the difference between a plus b, c plus d, and a plus bc plus bd? Oh, what is the difference between them? Okay. I think the difference he's asking about subtracting them, right? So we have two expressions, and he's saying, what are the values if you, yeah, so what are the answers, the solutions? What is the difference between, okay? So that's the key, is we have a plus b, and then c plus d, and a plus bc plus d for the following values of a plus b plus c plus d. All right, so for the two expressions, this is the way we're going to lay it out. For the, let's go make this a little bigger, 3.7. See what that looks like. Yeah, there we go. For the two expressions, not quite. Let's try it again. For the two there we go. For the two expressions, and then we write them out. A plus b and c plus d. For the two expressions, a plus b and c plus d, a plus b and c plus d, and, so this is our first one for the two expressions, and this is our first one, and this is our second expression. It was a plus b, c plus d, a plus b, c plus d. What is their difference for the following values? For the two expressions, a plus b times c plus d and a plus bc plus bd, what is the difference what is their difference for the following values? Okay, so that's essentially the layout. Oh, and if I'm going to do cursive, then I should do cursive all the way through. So a plus bc plus, and then d is here. What is their difference? What is their gotta write this out here a little better. What is their difference boy, looks like spider silk. What is their difference for the following values? For the following values. If I can spell that correctly. Come on. For the following values. Okay. All right, so we have for the following values, and then we lay out the table, and this is A, B, C, D, and then we're not going to do the answers. We just do these, the values A, B, C, and D, and then we're going to drop our lines here, line there, line there. There we go. Good, good. And then copy the values 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4 would be our first solution. 2, 12, 7, and 1. 2, 12, 7, and 1. Okay. And then what's our final one? Is 1, 1, 1, 1, right? 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, 1, 1, and 1. All right. Now, I do want to make sure that I'm understanding De Morgan here correctly when he's talking about difference. Before I record the video, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to work out one of the solutions off to one side, just to confirm that that is actually, that he's talking about subtraction. So you would take one expression and subtract the other. So you would say, what is the difference between? What is the difference between? Okay? What is their difference for the following values? And so let's just lay this out quickly. Let's do the bottom one. We know that the bottom one has to equal 1, so let's go ahead and try that. We have A, right? So we're going to do substitution. It's a 1 plus 1 is, and then 1 plus 1, and then, so that of course equals 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus, and then 2, so that's 4. 4 is the answer there. And then the bottom one is going to be minus, we'll just do this in our head, 1 plus 1 times 1, which is 1, plus 1 times 1, or plus 1, which is 3. Okay? And in reality, that is indeed the answer. That is indeed the answer. Okay? So it's 4 minus 3, which is 1. Good, good. Just wanted to make sure that that I was understanding him correctly. So now let's go ahead and get started with the video. So I have for the two expressions, what is their difference for the following values, where A, B, C, and D are equal to these values. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on the recording. So I can go ahead and minimize the PDF. And we go. So we scroll up and we start. All right. So we go. Hey everybody, in this math tutorial video, we're looking at two expressions. We have two expressions listed here, numbers 1 and 2, and they are A plus B times C plus D and A plus BC plus D. So if given these two expressions, what is their difference for the following values? What is their difference for the following values? Remember that the word here, difference, indicates subtraction. So if we were to take a look at these, we would have 1, we'll call it expression 1, right? We'll say E1 minus E2. E1 minus E2. Expression 1 minus expression 2. And then we have three different solutions to use here, or three different problems that we have to find the solution to. We have A equal to 1, B equal to 2, right? Here we go. Let's get our there's our marker. So we have A equal to 1, B equal to 2, C equal to 3, and B and D equal to 4. So let's go ahead and do that one first. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and lay them both out and solve them as we go. We're going to solve them all in one go. So we start first by laying out the two expressions, and it's A plus B times C plus D. So we go ahead and copy that first. This is expression 1, right? So expression 1 is open parenthesis A plus B, close parenthesis, open parenthesis, times C plus D, right? And then we have expression 2, E2, over on this side, and we're going to lay out the same order, right? So we have A plus B times C plus D, and then expression 2 is A plus BC plus D. So we have A plus B times C plus D, right? A plus BC plus D. All right. Now what we do is we have to substitute. So remember, this is the substitution part of the phase. We take the explicit values and we put them in place of the variable names, right? So we're going to substitute. All right? So with that, what we do is we get the value for A, and we're looking at the top one, right? We're looking at number 1. We have in our parenthesis, we're going to have 1 plus 2 times 3 plus 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. See that? A, B, C, D. And we leave the minus symbol unchanged. And now we do the same thing over here for expression 2. We grab 1 plus BC, which is 2 times 3. 2 times, we can go ahead and do a star, or we could do our X symbol. We'll do X. 1 plus 2 times 3, right, for C, plus, and then D is 4. Okay? Once we have this, we can continue to simplify. And remember PEMDAS, right? PEMDAS says that is solve your parentheses, check for exponents, check for multiplication, check for division, check for addition, and finally, check for subtraction. So we're going to do the same thing here. We first have to get rid of our parentheses, solve the parentheses first. So we simplify inside. 1 plus 2 is 3, okay, still parenthesis, and 3 plus 4 is 7. Okay, minus stays the same. 1, we have to get rid of our multiplication first, so we have 2 times 3 is 6, and we have our 4 still as well. Now we have our multiplication here, so 3 times 7 is 21. Minus, and we can go ahead and solve this all by addition first, right? So 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 4 is 11. Okay, got that right? And now our final answer is going to be 10, right? And we have simplified. Our final answer is 10. So, in answer to the question, for the two expressions, E1 is A plus B times C plus D, and E2, which is A plus BC plus D, what is their difference for the following values? We did 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the answer, once we solve it out, is 10. So let's go ahead and do our next one. So that was case 1. This is case 2. Case 2. All right. So once again, we go ahead and write out the expressions. No change. Right? A plus B times C plus D minus A plus B C plus D. Okay, we can go ahead and go in and we add our next values. Our next values are 2, 12, 7, and 1. 2, 12, 7, and 1. So we go in here, open up our parenthesis, 2, 12, 7, and 1, and 2, 12. Now I can show you a different way. 7 and 1. Okay, 2, 12, 7, and 1. Make sure that we copied it over correctly. We did A, B, C, and D, 2, 12, 7, and 1. Let's go ahead and start simplifying. So we first have to take care of the stuff inside the parentheses first, according to PEMDAS. 2 plus 12 is 14, and 14 times 7 plus 1, which is 8, minus 2, I have to leave that unchanged, plus 12 times 7 is going to be 84. It's going to be 84, all right, plus 1, right? So 12 times 7 is 84. And now we go through, we need to turn our first expression, we need to multiply it out. So 8 times 14 is going to be, we can do this in our heads, or we can just do it off to one side on scratch paper so we can see it here. 8 times 4 is 32, and then 8 times 1 is 8, plus 3 is going to be 11, right? So that is 112, 112, minus, and then over here we add these values. So we have 84, and then we have 2 plus 1, so that's going to be 3 plus 84 is going to be 87. 87, right? 87. All right, now we go ahead and simplify this out. Now, same thing, we could do it in our heads, or we can do it off on the scratch paper off to one side. So we'll go ahead and do that here. We have 112 minus 87 equals what? 7. Let's see, how much does it take to go from 7 to 12? It goes 5. And if we had to borrow, then we're going to bump this up. We're going to bump 8 up to 9, right? So we go 9 plus what equals 11. 9 plus what equals 11? It is going to be 2. And then we can backtrack this. So 5 plus 7 is 12. Add 1 to the 3. 3 plus 8 is 11. So our final answer is going to be 25. Our final answer is 25. So for the two expressions, a plus b times c plus d minus a plus bc plus d, if you substitute and then simplify, you end up with 25. Final one. This is case number 3. Okay? So we have case 3. Case 3. And this is the case where, once again, if we open up, we have our expressions. A plus b times c plus d, okay, minus a plus b c plus d. This is the case where all of the values are 1. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. 1 plus 1 times 1 plus 1 minus 1 plus 1 times 1. Notice we can do multiple types of times. We could do the star, we could do the dot, doesn't matter. 1 times 1 plus 1. All right, so that was our substitution phase, and now we simplify. So 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 times 1 plus 1 is 2, minus 1. Now here, this is really easy because we know 1 times 1 is 1. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. All right, and then 2 times 2 is 4, minus 3, which gives us a value of 1. All right, so that was the answer to the question for simplifying the two expressions, a plus b times c plus d minus a plus bc plus d is equal to 1, for the values 1, 1, 1, 1 is equal to 1. Thank you very much for watching. All right, so that would be the case for, now I've made, I think that was all 3 of the exercises, right? Yeah. So now I can start building out, well, that's fun. Now I can start building out my repository of the solved exercises. So once again, look at this. I'm able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Poor birds, may they rest in peace. But I'm able to practice my streaming, right? And I'm also able to record the videos. And they're kind of in the same format, so I'm learning how to solve. I'm learning how to multitask appropriately, right? I'm able to glean value. Okay, so that takes care of the exercises. All right, now we get to move back on over to section number 2. Good old De Morgan, we're going to give him his due. All right, and now we're going to read through and we're going to do the process. If you remember in the previous streams, I spoke of the idea that we want to be practicing good study skills as we go through the process of reading the book. So that's what that is. If I go here, we're going to switch our note. We're done with our exercises. I'm going to go back. I'm going to open up our, go to documents. We have mathematics, and we're going to go back to the regular page. Okay, so we'll give it a little bit of time. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do is notice in the previous stream yesterday, I was swapping back and forth between the fleeting notes in Gregg, and then I would swap back to the regular English. Okay, that's not really. I mean, it's useful for me, and for the purpose of the stream, I'm going to continue showing that process. But what I need to do is I need to create a separate notebook that has just my Gregg notes off to one side. Okay, my Gregg notes off to one side. So because of that, we're going to scroll down here to continue to our next part of the exercise. All right, so this is section number 2, which maybe, we probably should keep these as separate forms. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and we're going to call this section 2, because we don't want these documents to get too big. Section 2. All right, so there's section 2 saved, and now I need to go ahead and grab, I need to grab the whole selection. Lock aspect ratio. Can I select all? No. There we go. Okay. Go ahead and get rid of all of these values here. And we start all over again with our next section. I'm going to be right back. Take a short break right after this. All right, so we're back at it. Okay. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started in on the next segment. So, like I was saying, we have the notes that I have to make. We have the fleeting notes that I have to make, and then I have the regular examples to demonstrate, and then exercises on top of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I have my journal page pulled up. Close this down. Let's see here. And let me pull up journal. So I'm going to have journal pulled up. And journal is going to enable me to, or I'm going to be able to show the values for, oh, it's taking its time. There we go. Hopefully it works together. If not, I might end up having to use Arnote for multiple pages and then just swap the view. So let's see. Journal. Is it coming up? Journal no likey to play. Journal no likey play. Come on, Journal. What's your problem? Man, I might just have to switch on over to, let's quit. Now it's not responding. I wonder if it doesn't like... It's possible that Journal doesn't like to play with Arnote. They do seem... I was having some issues with that before. Come on. Come on, Journal. Come on, Journal. No fun. Alright, well, it looks like I might just have to... Hold on, did it come up, finally? Nope. Let me... I know that Arnote works, and I know I can export, so maybe what I'll do is I will set up Arnote so that I'm able to... write in the journal pages, or in the, it's not journal pages, but I'm able to write on the PDF pages, which I would then be able to print. But yeah, we'll just have to have a separate window for that. So I'll just have to swap back and forth. So I'm going to go ahead and quit journal, because now it's frozen. And can I go ahead and I might need to kill journal. Oh, jobs? No. Job? No. That's not it. What is it? I need to figure out which job ID is journal. Oh wait, there. Okay, so journal is showing up. It's just not appearing. So let's go over to Gregg Shorthand, and I need to... So it's how to kill a process by ID lookup. Find the process PID using a search utility. So let's see here. Show more. Ooh, now it's really bogging down. It's really bogging down. Yeah. Oh boy. Let's go ahead and minimize. I think I have maybe too many resources